These problems can happen to anyone, so be alert. Cyberbullying. A frequently used definition of cyberbullying is an aggressive, intentional act or behavior that is carried out by a group or an individual, using electronic forms of contact, repeatedly and over time against a victim who cannot easily defend him or herself. It is to be distinguished from normal conflicts between people of comparable power or status that often also occur online. There are many variations of the definition, such as the National Crime Prevention Council's more specific definition: the process of using the internet, cell phones or other devices to send or post text or images intended to hurt or embarrass another person. Cyberbullying is often similar to traditional bullying, with some notable distinctions. Victims of cyberbullying may not know the identity of their bully, or why the bully is targeting them, based on the online nature of the interaction. The harassment can have wide-reaching effects on the victim, as the content used to harass the victim can be spread and shared easily among many people and often remains accessible long after the initial incident. The terms cyber harassment and cyberbullying are sometimes used synonymously, though some people use the latter to refer specifically to harassment among minors or in a school setting. Cyberstalking. Further information. Cyberstalking is a form of online harassment in which the perpetrator uses electronic communications to stalk a victim. This is considered more dangerous than other forms of cyberbullying because it generally involves a credible threat to the victim's safety. Cyberstalkers may send repeated messages intended to threaten or harass, and they may encourage others to do the same, either explicitly or by impersonating their victim and asking others to contact them. This can be a combination of most of the other methods in order to stalk someone using electronic means. This can include finding the victim's location, harassing them with spam, or using sextortion. An example of this situation occurring is when Paris Deshante Evett, a 30-year-old from Tulsa, cyberstalked one of his former partners. A news article on it states, between October 2018 and continuing until October 2020, Evett used email, Facebook, and text messages to control and threaten the victim. However, his abuse of the victim had started years before. Between 2012 and 2019, Evett was convicted on 5 different occasions for physically abusing the victim, including strangulation, assault, and interfering with reporting. Evett was also on state supervision at the time of the current offenses. The unidentified victim explained that Evett had destroyed her sense of security and became emotional when she discussed Evett's statement that he would rather see her dead than happy. She also stated, "The longer he is away from my children and I, the more time we have to try and heal and move on with our lives, if that is even possible." Trolling. Further information. Internet trolls intentionally try to provoke or offend others in order to elicit a reaction. Trolls and cyberbullies do not always have the same goals. While some trolls engage in cyberbullying, others may be engaged in comparatively harmless mischief. A troll may be disruptive either for their own amusement or because they are genuinely a combative person. Trolling can include insults, false news, or terrorist threats. Hate raids. On Twitch and other live streaming services, hate raids are situations where a stream is raided by many viewers who flood the chat with harassment and other hateful messages. This prevents the streamer from executing their stream. These viewers are typically automated bots, making it difficult to moderate and block. Spamming is the act of creating multiple accounts and sending messages to a target en masse. A common situation where spam can occur is after a breakup. If one partner is obsessive, they may send their ex messages on multiple platforms. This often happens despite being blocked by the recipient. The article "What Can Police Do About Harassing Texts?" states, "Keep in mind that harassment of any kind is illegal and includes in person, over the phone, via text messages, through social media, or any other method. Some laws are in place about cyberbullying that are designed to protect the public from this happening. An impersonation is the act of pretending to be another person. If the offender pretends to be the victim, they may say or do things to hurt the victim's reputation. This can include hacking into a Twitter account and spreading disinformation. One famous example is when Sony Music's Twitter account was hacked and posted the following statement: "Britney Spears is dead by accident. We will tell you more soon. Hashtag RIPBRITNEY. Spears was, in fact, alive and well." Doxing is the act of disclosing a victim's personal data, such as their home address, phone number, and full name. Doxing can happen when fans in fandoms with large fanbases often go too far when protecting their idols and enter the realm of cyberbullying. Extreme fans of the K-pop music genre sometimes dox fans of rival music groups. This specifically was shown in an incident where fans of the group Blackpink doxed the owner of a Twice fan account, sending him to a hospital. This is allegedly because a Twice member disrespected a Blackpink member. Sexual harassment. Online sexual harassment is considered a form of cyberbullying. Sextortion, a form of sexual harassment, is the act of coercing a person into sharing intimate images before threatening to release them unless money is paid. It is a specific type of blackmail. The line between sexual harassment and cyberbullying is blurred. Some people will blackmail their classmates for nudes, threatening to release embarrassing information. They also use revenge porn and release nudes to get payback. This was the case when a 16-year-old student of WF West High School in Chehalis exploited more than 100 victims, many of which were his classmates. He owned over 900 photos and videos of victims. Methods used. Research has identified basic guidelines to help recognize and deal with what is regarded as abuse of electronic communications. Cyberbullying involves repeated behavior with intent to harm. Cyberbullying is perpetrated through harassment, cyberstalking, denigration, sending or posting cruel rumors and falsehoods to damage reputation and friendships, impersonation, and exclusion, intentionally and cruelly excluding someone from an online group. Cyberbullying can be as simple as continuing to send emails or text messages harassing someone who has said they want no further contact with the sender. It may also include public actions such as repeated threats, sexual remarks, pejorative labels, i.e. hate speech, or defamatory false accusations, ganging up on a victim by making the person the subject of ridicule in online forums, hacking into or vandalizing sites about a person, and posting false statements as fact aimed at discrediting or humiliating a targeted person. Cyberbullying could be limited to posting rumors about a person on the internet with the intention of bringing about hatred in others' minds or convincing others to dislike or participate in online denigration of a target. It may go to the extent of personally identifying victims of crime and publishing materials defaming or humiliating them. Cyberbullies may disclose victims' personal data, e.g. real name, home address, or workplace, schools, on websites or forums, called doxing, or may use impersonation, creating fake accounts, comments or sites posing as their target for the purpose of publishing material in their name that defames, discredits or ridicules them. This can leave the cyberbully anonymous, which can make it difficult for them to be caught or punished for their behavior, although not all cyberbullies maintain their anonymity. Users of semi-anonymous chat websites are at high risk for cyberbullying, as it is also easy in this outlet for a cyberbully to remain anonymous. Text or instant messages and emails between friends can also constitute cyberbullying if what is said is hurtful. Cyberbullying by email from a fictional friend at hotmail.com. The recent rise of smartphones and mobile apps have yielded a more accessible form of cyberbullying. It is expected that cyberbullying via these platforms will occur more often than through more stationary internet platforms because of constant access to the internet. In addition, the combination of cameras and internet access and the instant availability of these modern smartphone technologies yield specific types of cyberbullying not found in other platforms. It is likely that those cyberbullied via mobile devices will experience a wider range of cyberbullying methods than those who are exclusively bullied elsewhere. Some teens argue that some events categorized as cyberbullying are simply drama. Dana Boyd writes, teens regularly used that word, drama, to describe various forms of interpersonal conflict that ranged from insignificant joking around to serious jealousy-driven relational aggression. Whereas adults might have labeled many of these practices as bullying, teens saw them as drama. In social media, cyberbullying can take place on social media sites such as Facebook, MySpace, and Twitter. By 2008, 93% of young people between the ages of 12 and 17 were online. In fact, youth spend more time with the media than any single other activity besides sleeping. The last decade has witnessed a surge of cyberbullying, which is categorized as bullying that occurs through the use of electronic communication technologies, such as email, instant messaging, social media, online gaming, or through digital messages or images sent to a cellular phone. There are many risks attached to social media sites, and cyberbullying is one of the larger risks. 1 million children were harassed, threatened or subjected to other forms of cyberbullying on Facebook during the past year, while 90% of social media using teens who have witnessed online cruelty say they have ignored mean behavior on social media, and 35% have done so frequently. 95% of social media using teens who have witnessed cruel behavior on social networking sites say they have seen others ignoring the mean behavior, and 55% have witnessed this frequently. Terms like Facebook depression have been coined specifically in regard to the result of extended social media use, with cyberbullying playing a large part in this. Submit the documentary, The Virtual Reality of Cyberbullying, an award-winning documentary about the effects of cyberbullying that is shown in schools across the globe. Cyberbullying has become more common nowadays because of all the technology that children have access to. The most common apps that teenagers use to cyberbully are Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. Cyberbullying has become harder to stop because parents and teachers are unaware of when and where it is happening. A 2006 study found that 45% of teens and 30% of adolescents were cyberbullied while at school. This was linked to the reason students had access to their online devices such as cell phones or computers. Teens will say awful things to one another online, and what they do not realize is that once it is said and published online, it will not go away. Home used to be a safe place for teens, but now a child is still within reach of becoming a victim of cyberbullying, whether it is through YouTube, Ask.fm, or a text message. Wherever you face, it is easy to come across cyberbullying, making it almost impossible to escape. According to a 2013 Pew Research study, 8 out of 10 teens who use social media now share more information about themselves than they have in the past. This includes their location, images, and contact information. In order to protect children, it is important that personal information such as age, birthday, school, church, phone number, etc. be kept confidential. Cyberbullying can also take place through the use of websites belonging to certain groups to effectively request the targeting of another individual or group. An example of this is the bullying of climate scientists and activists.